Hello, dear friends. What a blessed evening to be together. Here we are with another study of the Spiritist magazine. And today, as always, we'll be bringing our attention to one of the articles from the newest issue of the Spiritist magazine. And the Spiritist magazine is available free of charge to you at spiritistmagazine.org. There you find a way to contact the editor in chief if you'd like to know more, if you'd like to donate your talents. There is also a copy you can download a copy for your devices. You can download the app for your devices. A beautiful way for us to know of the teachings of the Spiritist magazine. Today's issue is issue 64, as I mentioned, the newest issue of the magazine, as well as a new author for us. It's the first time we are going to be talking about an article from the physician Americo Canhoto, and this is an article from the book Small Missteps, Big Problems, not yet published in English, but translated by one of the members of the Spirit Society of Virginia in Chantilly, Virginia, and graciously shared here at Spiritist Magazine. And this book is all about um, families and children, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The article is titled Educating a Child by Americo Canhoto. And yes, friends, we can and should educate our children. If you'd like a review of the role of parents in welcoming and guiding the child during this reincarnation, there's a whole chapter in the book Gospel According to Spiritism by Allan Kardec, where the spirits remind us that parents' mission is to guide that soul to God. And that includes education, because when you educate, you create new habits and you allow that soul that comes from multimillenary experiences to be more malleable through the process of reincarnation, through the process of childhood and infancy, where we are open as spirits to receive the influence of those who received us, the family, the caregivers, the school, and the society we live in. We do have a history, we do have our own ways of being in this world where we reincarnate to learn, we reincarnate to grow. And there in the Gospel According to Spiritism, Kardec does mention that the mission of the parents is to guide the soul to God, which including looking at that soul as a full being, but also trimming some of our still imperfect habits and behaviors that we may bring with us from many reincarnations. So we look at them as the loving child that they are, but they're multimillenary spirit entrusted to you as a parent in this life, and then it's up to us to guide that child to God, including correcting some of the things that we mistakenly bring, that we need to learn new habits. We need to learn how to be kind, how to be harmonious, how to be nice, how to behave, how to believe in society, how to fulfill God's laws, as we find in the Spirit's book. Well, without further delay, here's what you're seeing on the screen. On my left side is the version, the PDF version of the magazine, as you can download, that shows up in my computer. And this is how the article looks like to me. So we're going to hide the sidebar and we're going to focus on the text by Americo Canhoto. He's a physician and a spiritist. It says, easily, the child of the new generation learns to, quote, go with the flow, unquote. In the dance of life, the child is, oh, excuse me, ma'am, is an excellent dancer. Let me make it a little bigger for those who are watching the video. No matter what a rhythm imposed on him or her. Simply put, if the child notices that it's impossible to use its ethical moral sense and enhanced concept of justice, she will act according to the rules and values of the group in which it is inserted. Now, regardless of what our current family composition is, maybe you are a parent, maybe you're a caregiver, um, in a in a relationship where your children were entrusted to you by God. We're all at some point, if you're lucky, to age to a certain age. And remember, not everybody ages in an anti-aging focused society, but some of us will become old and hopefully wiser. We were children one day. And then we have the rules and values of the group where we were inserted. And we judge that, right, by also our own ethical moral sense and enhanced concept of justice that we have inside ourselves, which is our compass with the divine laws. So let's do an exercise. What is, or in our case, as we're grown ups watching this, what was the rules and values of the group in which you were reincarnated at when you were younger? And what are the rules and values of the group which you find yourself now that perhaps that's the same where the children in your life are? Yeah? So if the child growing up is not able to use its own ethical moral sense and enhanced concept of justice, they will act according to what's around us, right? Nature versus nurture. As a matter of survival, the child will adapt itself to the milieu. What does not mean the loss of her or him, his spiritual victories. So we may be acting in a way that may not align with our spiritual victories, but some of us have already conquered some of the things that we left behind in our lifetimes. When facing this type of situation, the child feels a strong impulse to live a physical life, a risk of imminent disaster. If a child of the new generation says she's tired of life, keep an eye on her and him to keep the child in a classroom until the bell rings. Remember, he's elating here, mentioning something that is unfortunately common today, which is this sense, right? So the child comes with a concept of justice, a concept of a moral sense, and then he or she finds themselves in an environment where that is not congruent. They may feel this strong impulse to live life. And we are seeing a lot of parts in the world where child illnesses, mental illnesses, and distress is increasing. Child suicide is increasing, attempted suicide. So we need to keep an eye out for that misalignment when we see the children, which some of us, are going to be entrusted to children that are way above us, our moral, our moral compass, because they're also parents are also students as much as the children are students. We're learning with one another. So we need to keep an eye on our young. And that means paying attention to where they are, what they like to do. Yes, encouraging them to do the best they can, but also curbing the maybe not as elevated tendencies we have brought with us from a different life. The way the family established, have we ever thought about, friends, how our families are established in this world, a world of trials and expiations, planetary transition to the world of regeneration? Remember, it's not a sharp line. Tomorrow, it's all regeneration. That's not how it goes. It's a gradual, slow process because nothing in nature is sudden. So we take the time to grow. So how are our families? How is my family? How is your family? We always want to bring these studies to ourselves. It is hard. It is hard. It's like eating the vegetables. We have to bring these teachings to what does it mean to me. Otherwise, we're just going to be parakeets. I'm just going to parrot, be quoting, but not um, being able to learn and use the teachings. So, a physician, Americo Canhoto, says we can say that part of today's families formed according to the law of attraction and attunement. So, who are we attracting and attuning with? Under the baton of the law of action and reaction. So, who are we? People, of course, humans, spirits who have lived together in many lifetimes as a possibility. There's attunement and attraction. We attract into one another based on action and reaction. So, what did we do to come to this life together? What are the debts? What are the already spiritual victories we have together? What are we building? And what are we here to learn anew? He says, because it is a driving force that still brings us together. We come close to our family members thanks to past commitments, usually created by thoughtless acts and transgressions committed against divine laws. So we are not all angels, right? When we see this beautiful child, barely the size of your hands, maybe 2 hands because I have small hands, then we think it's so beautiful. But that spirit entrusted to you, or that spirit who you were entrusted to someone else, has a past, has a history. So do we. And it's very likely that our family members are in this web of relationships. Let's bring it to a concrete example. In the book Life Goes On, recommendation by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier, André Luiz describes to us two families, couples. Starts with Evelyn and Ernest. They pass away, they discarnate, as we say in Spiritism. They go to the spiritual realm, takes some time for them to recognize their new status as errant spirits. Then they are able to observe their families and see how they're linked and how different people commit thoughtless acts and transgressions are not against divine laws, and how Evelyn and Ernest work behind the scenes to ensure that their family receives the spirits of some of those um, actors and actresses in the past lives or in this life. So they reincarnate within the same circle, and Ernest and Evelyn are granted 3 decades to work with the family for the plan to unveil. A similar type of dynamics in the book Sex and Destiny, for example. So there's just so many books of André Luiz where we clearly see that we reincarnate. So, for example, in the book Missionaries of the Light, Sigismundo's reincarnation example, he was in a homicide situation, Sigismundo, with the future parent who was not now dead, who is now reincarnated, and he was trying to make amends so they could restart. So that child that we receive in our midst may be someone who hurt us in a previous life or this life. We don't want to think about it, right? We just want to see the beautiful, the potential, and we should see the beautiful and we should see the potential. But here, physician Americo Canhoto is reminding us after that break for the example that we come because we have past commitments. We agree to return. And that's why we don't just leave them on the side of the road. And those commitments are created by ourselves, thoughtless acts and transgressions. Against what? Against divine laws. Because every time we do something, we want to compare that to the divine laws and see if we are still walking in goodness. Some, due to the spiritual worthiness of its members and supported by benefactors of higher realms, demonstrate putting into practice a plan that was outlined on the other side of life. So we do have plans, we have reincarnatory plans. And the exact composition of different families is supported and endorsed by our benefactors, some of them in higher realms. Some of the members of families have spiritual worthiness, they're more elevated and more advanced than us, and they are granted this opportunity and demonstrate putting into practice this plan. So let's think this through. I might look around in my circle of influence, right? Because we can only change ourselves. We can change others, but we can control what we do, how we think, how we feel, our reactions. Maybe we observe a family of a selfless person. No matter what the family members do to them, they remain. They remain. That is putting into practice a plan. We have our reincarnatory plans. So, how well are we doing with putting this plan into practice? Is really putting things, not allowing the distractions of this world to come in the way. He says they are assisted by those who have already done their part and that now, in better evolutionary condition, are able to support them spiritually. So these are our benefactors. We think of angels, especially as someone who I can say that coming from a Catholic background, we see as they're the divine and angelic, and they may have wings. They probably don't, but in our imagination, they do. We think of them as delicate creatures, but no, they are in a better condition to support us, and that's why we count on them. That's why they are here with you right now, your benefactors. No matter how low we go, they're there. They're just waiting for that attunement. They're guiding us, they're counseling us 24/7. That's what their commitment to us was. But they need to be in a better evolutionary condition to support us spiritually when we do thoughtless acts and transgress against divine laws. We're so lucky to know of these in this world, that with this interconnectedness, there's so much that we are so unable to do about many things. But we know we can definitely use our will to gain knowledge like we're doing right now, to work on our intelligence, and to choose the best path so that we can, in the next life, be a better evolutionary condition to progress. And last but not least, Americo Canhoto says to educate a child, not only it is essential to have conscience of who we are, but also be able of being responsible for ourselves, our body, and our choices. So how responsible are we with our bodies, ourselves, and our choices? Remember, being a spiritist, you know you're multimillionary, that your soul did not get created in a moment of disconception, but it was created by God a long time ago. This is one of many reincarnations we have, and we'll have many granted to us here on earth and elsewhere by our loving Creator. We're also to be reincarnated. We need to take care of our bodies. That's the instrument we use to have this life. And we are responsible for our choices. You made a good choice today of joining this Spiritist Magazine program at Kardec Radio. It's been a pleasure and an honor. My name is Shane Martin, for those who don't know. I am the president founder of the Spirit Society of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. That's where we are recording right now. In this collaboration with Kardec Radio has been made so much to me. It's always an honor. I'm always humbled by everybody who watches, everybody who likes, everybody who subscribes, everybody who shares, because share is caring. How many lives would be transformed if we had the knowledge that we are more than the physical, that we are going to be granted many opportunities by God, that being in this life is worth it, that we can and should care for one another, that everything that happens to us has a reason, that we have reincarnatory plans, and we have been joined for forces with family members who are here to help us grow as well as we can help them grow as well. Dear friend, much love to you. My gratitude, our gratitude to Dr. Americo Canhoto and the mentors and guides of the Spiritist magazine who lovingly grant us the opportunity of being here every week. God willing, I'll return again next week, all under God's guidance. Please stay well, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Take care.